Obviously, Jose, I've known you my whole life. I've been lucky enough to be around for the ride and the journey. But for those who don't know you, tell us a bit more about you before the barbering.
Yeah, so as you know, Jose Figueroa, Portuguese. Moved to London when I was 5 years old. Was brought up obviously in Newham. And like every childhood dream, I wanted to be a footballer. So obviously, like I remember, that's all I wanted to do. Like,
that's how we met.
Yeah, right? Exactly. That's how we met. So like school, playing football, primary school, secondary school, asking my mum to go outside and play football, and obviously we met playing ball as well.
Playing football in the park every single day, downstairs from your house in the green as well.
Of course. And then 2012, that's when it kind of started becoming more real. And in 2012, I actually got scouted by Nike. So at the time, like you know, Nike was doing like a competition, almost like an X Factor thing, where they scouted 100 players from around the UK, unsigned players, so players that weren't attached to professional clubs. And they came to my college. At the time, I was doing like a sports scholarship, and obviously you was part of that program as well. So obviously in that program, it was like we'd play our matches on a Wednesday and we train every day. It's like literally the American dream. It's like the scholarship. So I was there, and then Nike came over. They were doing a competition. They came to a training session and they picked me from the boys. And then from there I got selected to go into the competition. Like I said, 100 players from around the UK. Sorry, not signed. We went up to Manchester, and they done like literally a week's long of like a training camp. And I remember the first day they cut 100 players to 50 players.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
And it's literally X Factor. We'd do training sessions, we'd do testing. I remember we'd done loads of fitness testing. And there was loads of professional coaches there as well, like from pro clubs like Nottingham Forest, Arsenal. And then so like obviously I was there for the duration of the week. Each day they'll cut players down, and then fortunately enough for me, I made it to the finals. The finals was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was
26, I think I remember.
26 players, yeah, 26 players. We went to Carrington.
Yeah. What I could do to actually get myself focused for this is just take advice from the coaches, analyse myself as a player, see what I could do better for the next sessions, and just go for it, give it my all.
United's training ground. And we played the 11-a-side match, and then from that 26 players, they picked 3 players. So in that game, I worked my ass off. Like I literally left everything on the pitch, and then fortunately enough for me, I was selected as one of the winners.
Right now, it's time to crown 3 players who will now represent the UK in Barcelona.
Winner of the UK Chance is number 39, Jose Figueroa.
I felt overwhelmed. Throughout the whole journey, I just kept myself focused. I knew there was going to be high standards of players, kept doing what I needed to do, and it just got me all the way here.
How did that feel though? Because obviously, like you said, it was, the trial was like over 200 boys, and it whittled it down all the way to 3. And I remember actually you representing for the UK.
Exactly.
You was the only one to get through.
I mean, it was surreal because imagine I'm playing college football. It was good football, I can't lie. It was a good setup. I remember playing like in a few stadiums and stuff like that. But just the transition from going from there and then going into like an environment where I've got like good players from around the UK, and that was the first time I actually was able to challenge myself, like actually weigh myself up to players from around the UK. So it was good. It kept me going. Obviously, it had me working harder. And the experience was just surreal because, like, obviously being a Manchester United fan, I've been at Carrington, and I didn't even mention it. We met Rio Ferdinand. He was like the ambassador of that whole competition kind of thing.
What was that like, meeting Ferdinand? I mean, that's a lot of people's dream as well.
I think that was probably my second time meeting a footballer, like, in person. And then obviously, again, I'm a United supporter, so for me,
it's true.
Like, I was smiling, I can't even lie. And then in my head, I was like, yeah, man, I gotta make it count, you know? So yeah, moving on, they've announced the winners, and I remember my name came up first, and like it was crazy. Like for me, it was just again surreal because like thinking, yo, like I've made it out of 100 players, I've made it top 3, and I've been selected first as well. And then crazy enough, Nike were doing the same thing all around the world.
So just going off that. So after you won, what was the next stage of that?
So yeah, basically the next stage was the global finals. So we done the national finals, which was the UK, and then it was the global finals now. So global finals, basically imagine the same thing that we were doing in the UK. Portugal was doing it, Spain was doing it, Brazil was doing it. Every country you can think of that plays football, they were doing it. So you've got 3 winners from the UK. All around the world, they've got their own winners as well. So all together, we came together and it was the best unsigned, untapped players from around the world. And the finals for that was in Barcelona.
I remember that yeah. How was that? That was on their facilities. Did you get to meet any first team players or anything like that?
That was crazy. So I remember, I think it was the first training session, the day was done, and you see the Barca players come out, Iniesta, Xavi, like all the Barca players that were signed with Nike at the time as well. So yeah, like I remember doing the rondo with, it was Iniesta, done the rondo with Iniesta. And it's surreal again, because like, you can only dream of this stuff, of course, because it's like Barcelona, I'm in their facilities and like I'm in there, it's real, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, like moving on, we basically, it was the same setup, training every day. We're playing matches, we're training, and then they're cutting players down. So it was pretty much the same setup in terms of how many players they were cutting down. And then fortunately enough for me, I was working hard enough, and they selected 28 players to play a final.
11 aside.
Yeah, 11 aside at Barca's stadium, B-team stadium, sorry. And from there, again, worked my ass off in the match and was fortunate enough to win as well, to be part. They selected 16 players, sorry. They selected 16 players, and those 16 players were basically selected to go on a world tour with Nike later on in the year. It wasn't straight away, it was later on in the year.
Gonzalo Balbi, Brian Iloski, Jose Figura, Dario Vanderbush.
And yeah, from there, off of that, yeah, life just started changing. I remember off of that, I went on trial to United, to Manchester United. Like I went on official trial to Manchester United, because before that, we done a few things at United in terms of getting us ready for the global finals, because we done the national finals in like early July, and the global finals was like towards the end of August. So in that space in between, Nike got us to go to United and do some sessions with the coaches and stuff like that. And obviously from there, they were familiar with us and stuff, and they followed my journey. And yeah, I went to United. I got the call. Yeah, United want you on trial.
So what was that like? Obviously, I know you're a United supporter as well. Been that from day one, even though I'm an Arsenal supporter. So either way, what was that like when you came through the door the first day? Who did you see? You know, what did you take away from that experience?
So you gotta remember, the transition is like June, I'm at college. July, I'm with Nike doing the competition. Mid-July, I'm at United, like training with the coaches. And then to be called up back for an official trial, it was crazy, because I even got trained with the first team. And I remember that session just being like, whoa, like this is just surreal, because players that I see on TV, like they're celebrities basically, innit? And I see them on TV and I'm on the pitch with them now, you know?
Who was in that training session on that day?
Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Rio Ferdinand, Nani was there, Welbeck, even players that have come have come through the ranks as well, like Adnan Januzaj, Andres Ferreira, Jesse Lingard. Yeah, man. It was the era of where the year before United had just, Cristiano Ronaldo had just left United, Pogba had just left United. So, and I even remember, because obviously when you come into training, you're in the change room, your kit is set up. So like just my kit being set up and stuff like that was crazy. And then you go into the gym to warm up, because obviously you got to do pre-activations and stuff like that. And I've got on a bike now, the spin bikes. And then I look to my left, you got Ryan Giggs. And I look to my right, you got Paul Scholes. And I'm just like, whoa.
That must have been crazy.
It's crazy. But then when in that experience, like obviously, you know what you're there for football. Obviously I was there to try and earn a contract. And then, I didn't end up signing at United, unfortunately. I wasn't, the feedback that I got then was I needed more experience, match experience. In terms of like ability-wise, I was more than capable to play with them. But I needed more match experience. What they'd done is send me to the feeder club in Belgium. So I went to Belgium now off of just doing like a pre-season with United. So I'm fit. Like I remember the fitness was crazy as well. So I'm fit, I'm flying. I've gone to Belgium now to their feeder club. I've had a trial there. I'm with the first team. At this time I was like 19. And then we've played a match and I sat down with the director. He said, look, you're a good player, but you're not ready for first team football. Unfortunately, like we'd love to keep you in a reserve team, but unfortunately we don't have the budget to keep you here, because they already had 2 United players out there on loan that I played with back at United as well. So it was just one of them things, like it's business, it happens, innit? So came back to the UK. I remember going on a few trials, went to Nottingham Forest, done really well there, but I let myself down again, just not having that experience, you know?
So during this time, you've gone on a few trials, you come back from Belgium, but you've also got the global tour coming up. Yeah.
So I've done the trials in that space of winning the global finals. And then, I've done a few trials in between. And then obviously I still had the global tour to go on with the 16 players from obviously the winners with Nike. So we went on that global tour. Again, surreal experience. Like I couldn't ask for anything better, because I'm not paying for anything. I'm getting clothes, I'm eating for free, I'm traveling for free. I'm going to countries that I'd never thought of going, you know? So I remember our first stop was the United States. We went to the headquarters of Nike in Portland. We done, I remember just doing training, like with the strength and conditioning coaches. We looked at the factory, like we just looked how Nike worked. And then watched my first basketball game there, the Trailblazers. From there, we went to LA. We trained at the USA National Team Training Ground, which is again mixed with LA Galaxy, so they will have the same setup. And then we played the USA International team, the under 19s, which was good as well. Like they were very athletic, but we beat them. And then from there, we went to Italy, to Juventus, Turin. We played against Juventus. I remember seeing Pogba on the airplane. Yeah, Pogba was on the airplane. I was the first one to notice him. I was like, he's young. He just moved to Italy.
He still had his blonde hair in as well around that time.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's Pogba. And then, we played against Juventus, played their under 19s, beat them. We watched the Juventus game as well, which was nice. And the stadium was pretty new at the time as well. And came back to the UK.
Running off that though, so just obviously, like I said, on this global tour, you got to play against some even international clubs. I know you even got to do that while you were here as well. Yeah. What was it like playing against all these, big teams and their academies, etc. and stuff like that?
It was a good test, because it's like, okay, I'm on a global stage now, and it's almost like Champions League basically. And what you got to remember as well is like, we had players from around the world as well. So we were good. We were good. And yeah, just playing against them was a good test. Like, because obviously these are players that are now still playing football, still in the professional game, playing at big clubs and stuff like that. So it was good to like play against them and just like know that, yo, this is where I'm at with football, you know? But yeah, going back to it, we then finished off in the UK. So we came back to the UK, went up to St. George's Park. St. George's Park was pretty new at the time as well. Like literally done the whole experience at St. George's Park. We stayed there, used the facilities, again, living a professional setup. And then we played Man United in a match. And I remember, obviously, I've just come on from trial, and going back there was like, all right, cool, like maybe I can catch their eyes again this time, you know? Because obviously through that time that I've left United, I've gained some more experience, you know? Yeah, I've developed a lot. And I remember that game, I started on the bench because what they were doing is if you play the game before, the next game you start on the bench. Everyone had a fair opportunity. So I remember starting on the bench. I was a bit pissed, but it was all right. Obviously, I knew I was going to play anyways. And then I think 15 minutes into the game, we're getting bopped. United are giving us the round and round. I was like, and just Ferreira's just there doing his thing. I'm thinking, oh, Gaffer goes, Jose, get warmed up. I was like, yep, this is me. Impact player. Come on. I remember came on. I did change the game. I actually changed the game. We came back. We came back 1-1, and then they scored the final goal. And then just before the whistle went, we had the opportunity to score again. And then we didn't end up scoring. We lost that game 2-1, but I done really well in that game. But nothing came off of that. But after that, we went to play the Nike Academy, because obviously the
previous year signed team,
they had a team as well set up, and the end goal for the whole tour and the whole competition was to get players into the Nike Academy.
Yeah. How many players were they looking to sign?
It was 3 players.
3 players out of the...
Players,
okay.
yeah. So 3 players to sign into the academy. And then we played the academy. And because the academy, they gave us a good game, because they knew eventually one of us was going to take one of their places. So they gave us a good game. We ended that game 0-0. Off of that game, I got scouted. And then I didn't end up going on that trial, because I ended up going to the academy, signing at the academy for the remainder of the season. So I signed at the Nike Academy for the remainder of the season. Again, the setup with them, professional setup. We was at Loughborough. They had a professional setup. We train every day. The highlight of that experience was we went to Spain, and I got to play against Barcelona. We played against Barca's under-19s, and Espanyol under-19s as well, which was, again, like this was the pinnacle moment of when Barca was just killing football.
Yeah.
The Spanish football, they were just killing it, and I got to experience that hand on hand. Like, it was surreal, man, because like a few months ago, I was at college. A few months later, I'm on Barca's training ground. I'm playing against Barca. Like, it's crazy. Life changed like that for me, and I give it all to the Nike Academy. I give it all to Nike as well, like for like just helping me get closer to my dream. And then off of that, obviously, the academy, the season had finished, and I remember setting up. Because from there, like I made a few connections in terms of like agents and stuff like that. And I remember having some conversations with a few agents, and there was an opportunity out in Iceland to go play out in Iceland. And I remember specifically wanting to go out there because off of the trials that I had, they just said, look, Jose, you're a great player, but you need more match time. You need more match time. And I understood that. Looking back at it now, I know I did not need more match time, because I actually got that match time, and it's like, I know what was needed at the time, that little extra. Because I remember I didn't have an academy set up like you typically should have, like going through the the under 7s, under 8s, and I didn't have that. And obviously that's where you learn all of that, what I was kind of missing. So I was a rough diamond, that's what they call it, yeah. But yeah, like I got the opportunity to go to Iceland, and I said, yeah, Mum, look, it's something new. They're offering me a pro contract, and
I remember that being a big day for the family.
yeah, it was a big day. It was a big day. Like I said, yeah, this is what's meant to be for me, you know. So yeah, I signed that pro contract. I went out to Iceland. I got a 2-year deal.
So what was the development like? I remember you telling me the fitness was high.
Yeah.
And I remember going out there to see you, and it was cold as hell.
Yeah. It was a cold country. It was a cold country. The seasons are actually different because they have like a summer season. It's the same as like Sweden as well. They got like all the Norwegian countries have like a summer season because winter is crazy cold. And yeah, they were fit, like fit, healthy. And out in Iceland, you're a professional footballer, but you're still studying or you're working. You know what I'm saying? So they're normal citizens, but like when it came down to football, they worked hard. And the development process, like I remember the first team. So actually the first team that I signed for, I was there for like 2 months until the transfer window. And fortunately enough for me, I was doing well enough and I got a move to a better club. And in that club, I met Nigel Quasi. He was an ex-West Ham player, ex-Premier League player. And he used to play midfield, centre midfield. And like meeting him was a breath of fresh air because like I learned so much off of him. Like he developed my game like literally a lot. And it was what I needed because I remember going in there, like I wanted to be on the ball all the time as a midfielder, like a young midfielder. You want to chase the ball, you want to be on the ball. Like I got energy, but there's only so much that energy can take you. And then he opened my eyes and said, bro, look, Josie, you're a good player. Like you can play. Like when you get to this level, everyone can play football, but what can you do without the ball? And that's when football started changing for me. I started thinking about what I'm gonna do off of the ball and stuff like that, yeah.
So that being said, we've seen your journey through the Nike Chance, the global finals, nearly being signed by United, and then getting your 2-year contract out in Iceland. But when did the Clippers get involved?
When did the Clippers come in?
Yeah, so funny enough, yeah, the Clippers came in when I actually signed that first pro contract to Iceland. So you gotta imagine, I'm used to getting fresh haircuts in the UK, and going out to Iceland, I'm thinking, like, who's gonna cut my hair? I can't see myself trusting anyone to cut my hair. And I just said, you know what? Like, let me just go to my barber, ask him to show me a few bits. I'm gonna record him. I've actually got those videos till today. So I recorded him cutting my cousin. Yeah, he was cutting my cousin and he was just going through the steps. He's saying, yeah, so put on a clipper, this is level 1. And I was talking through the video as well, just so I know what I'm doing when I'm watching back on those videos. Using number 1 to like level it out.
And then you're gonna do another fade, but this time not do 0, but 1. So using this is 1, 0, 1 close.
Next step on the machine, you do the line, you go over the line, and you do, on the machine you do 0. So, and then I ended up, buying clippers that day. I bought some clippers, I asked him what do I need, he said, yeah, buy this, buy that. Bought some clippers, and then, in Iceland, 2 years, as you can imagine, I was cutting my own hair for 2 years, and then I ended up cutting my teammates' hairs as well. So like every Friday, boys, haircut time, because we got to look sharp for the Saturday games. And it was tough, because looking back at the haircuts that I gave myself, boy, there's a lot of hairlines messing up and everything. But when I'm in a country like Iceland, like no one's gonna notice that. Only my friends notice that, but it's whatever. I done the job, but it's crazy because I'm doing something often and you're only gonna get better at it. So without me knowing, I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at cutting hair, and then I'm showcasing myself without me knowing, because you know, I've got friends back in the UK, I've got them on Snap, they want to follow my journey and stuff like that, and they're seeing that I'm cutting hair, and for me it's just like, okay, I can cut someone's hair, I need to stay fresh, and there's banter in it, it's something to do. And then not knowing, like, I'm actually getting people engaged from back in the UK. It's like, right, like you could actually cut hair kind of thing. And for me, I didn't really think of it as a thing like that. It's just, okay, like I've got like an artistic, creative background. School, I used to do art. So
plus, I remember you practicing on me and Jessen's hair as well.
yeah, the practice, it started.
I should have seen the signs from there.
Exactly, it actually did start early, and yeah, like it was just one of them things that it was almost like something that I would do on the side kind of thing, like while I was out in Iceland. Not often, but like whenever teammates needed a haircut, yeah, I'm the man to go to in the team to get a haircut. And then yeah, man.
So you started cutting hair out in Iceland, and then at some point you returned back to London. What was you doing with your time then?
Okay, so I've come back from Iceland. I finished my contract out in Iceland. I had the option to stay, but I chose not to stay because I felt like I got enough experience to come back to the UK and establish myself. So I did come back. I ended up coming back, and the time that I came back in like September, and obviously transfer windows closed. I had to wait for international clearance and stuff. So what I ended up doing is playing non-league football for a bit. The aim was to play up until December, because the transfer window would open again in like January, and then I'd go off from there. But in between, obviously, I wasn't earning crazy money in Iceland. So when I came back, I did find myself obviously playing semi-pro football, but I had a lot of time in my hands. So I thought, you know what, let me look for a job, part-time job. I looked for a part-time job, and then at the same time, I started cutting hair a lot more. For some reason, like I ended up cutting hair in my room at the start. Yeah, like I ended up starting cutting hair from the room, and it was like one Christmas, everyone just hit me up like, yo bro, like I know you're back in the country, like my barber's gone missing, man, can you give me a haircut? And before that I was just cutting the man, like obviously 4 or 5 people, you know? And then that day I ended up saying, okay, you know what, I could charge for this. So I charged like what, a $5. And then from there I was like, okay, cool, like I can make money off this, you know? Originally, I started cutting in the room. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was literally this space here, innit? And we'd have the mirror. The mirror's obviously there. Literally, chair would be here. I didn't even have like a barber cape at the time. So I'd use like a t-shirt. Another trim secured. My dog, George. Come on. Looking fresh. Yes, come on. JJ Figs Barbers, you don't know. Out here cutting hair till 2. Just finished up with another client. My dog. Come on. Fresh trims and that. I'd use like a plain t-shirt, one of my plain t-shirts. So the man just used to put on a plain t-shirt, and then I'd cut because obviously there was no barber cape. The lighting was terrible, but I made do. Sometimes I even got the man to put the flash on their phone and stuff like that. And this is where, you know what, like I started messing around more with the clippers and using the skills that I kind of built up in Iceland without knowing that I was actually getting good at cutting hair. Yes, man like Ojima came through for that trim.
Yeah.
Woo! What's that new? All pattern for New Year's.
Pattern.
Done.
How many snap your feed?
Malaroski, fam.
For this.
Malaroski.
There it is. Back on it, fam. If you lot need trims, give me a shout. I used to sleep here, so like it was messy and stuff like that. Like I'd wake up and there'd be hair on the floor and stuff. Obviously I would clean it as much as I can, but still, and obviously it's the wood and that. So I said, you know what, one day I said, let me go to B&Q's. I got some lights. What else did I get? I went to Argos. I got like one of them bar stools where you can spin and stuff like that. I said, yeah, today I'm going from the room to the shed. And then obviously I started cutting in the shed. I'm gonna take you lot to the shed now so you can see the whole setup. Yeah, man, so this is the famous shed that everyone used to see on Snapchat. This is where basically it all like actually kicked off in terms of like just growing a clientele without even me like wanting to grow that. Like, you know, obviously when you got a business, you grow your clientele on purpose. I was doing it without me even knowing because I was using this as a side hustle. But let's go inside and I'll show you some how I had everything set up in it. So basically, obviously, you know, I've got two parts of my house. I've got the kitchen and the living room. And obviously the man them just used to come through the kitchen. I get them to come through. Like obviously the shed ain't got no power. When we first moved into the house, the shed had power, but they cut it off. So the shed ain't got no power. So what I used to do, I used to get an extension from the kitchen all the way into the shed. And then obviously that's how I got my power in it. Like I said, I went to B&Q. I got lighting, like a light bulb that I could literally connect to a plug. I put it up here. It's one of them studio lights as well. So I put it up here. It was pretty bright. And then the stool that I got from B&Q, put it right here in the middle. Obviously, I had my little mirror as well set up. Had a sofa in here as well. So it was actually like a little chill. Like people could actually come and chill. All I needed was minimum space to cut hair. Yeah, I had my setup here. I remember I even got a studio light as well, put here so there was more lighting because obviously I learnt from the room. And yeah, man, this is where I just started hustling, man. I literally started hustling from here. So it started off as like friends of a friends, like close friends, people from the area and stuff like that. And obviously word got about that, yo, like Jose's cutting hair now, he's actually good. And yeah, and then obviously, like I used to get people hit me up on Snapchat or WhatsApp, people obviously that had my access to me. And that's how I used to, yeah, like just make my money, man, hustle. And then, yeah, from there, I think I spent at least 2 to 3 years cutting in the shed. And yeah, this was basically the side hustle. I was doing like, I think 2 days a week here, like a Thursday and a Friday, if I'm correct.
The price changed from the shed to the bedroom.
To be fair, yeah, the price did change because I gave people a bit more luxury in it. Because obviously the room, man had no barber cape, nothing. So obviously in the room, when I started, it was like a $5. Because yeah, it was just one of them things. I didn't look at it like that. But when I clocked that I could start making money, I said, all right, cool. Let's go to the shed. Obviously, I gave them a bit more luxe, a bit more comfort and stuff like that. Barber cape, everything. So I said, all right, cool. I started charging a tenner. And then I think it even went up and I started charging 15. 15 was probably the most, correct me if I'm wrong, but 15 was probably the most that I charged in the shed. And yeah, man, and the hustle, I was just hustling, man, just literally hustling. And then obviously word got about, people would see my work. And then, yeah, man, that's when I started cutting like upcoming footballers, like young footballers. I cut Chuba Akpong here. I cut Ezri Konsa, who plays for Aston Villa. Chuba used to play for Arsenal, but I think he's out in Greece at the moment. I cut Kojo Funds here. I cut Young Bane here. Yeah, like obviously cutting those people, like I got more attention. So I ended up going to shows and stuff like that, cutting them at shows. And then I'd have, like one time, LB from DBE, like I gave him a trim, he was fucking with the trim. And then like obviously, I remember Bane saying that he was bugging him about getting my details and stuff like that. And like you got to remember at the time, this was just a side hustle. It wasn't, oh yeah, Jose's a barber. Like I personally didn't consider myself as a barber. But I had the skill to cut hair, you know, so and I was making money out of it. So yeah. This is it, man. This is the famous shed, the barbershop. I had vibes here though. I had vibes, man. We used to have dominoes here, music going off, late night. In the summer, you can imagine like this is wood. So in the summer, wood absorbs the heat, innit? So in the summer, it's baking hot. I've got all doors open. I've got the aircon going off. Like, people are getting trims, but they're sweating and stuff. And then in the winter, hella cold. I needed to get a portable heater, slap it in here. But it was vibes, man. I built a lot of memories here, like met a lot of new people, created a lot of relationships as well. And like till now, I still have some clients that used to cut from here, like, and they cut with me till today. And yeah, man, those are my day ones. I always look after them. They know who they are. At the time, again, I'm non-league football, part-time working. The aim was to go to a professional team around Christmas, but I didn't end up doing that because I wasn't fit enough to go into a club and play. So I didn't want to sell myself short. So from like December till like pre-season, that's what I was doing. I was working part-time, playing non-league football and cutting hair.
What was that like, juggling those as well?
Like at that time, because remember, I've still got ambitions of like going pro, you know? Even though I was working part-time and whatnot, but I still had ambitions of going pro, because obviously pre-season, I was gonna go out on trial and stuff like that. So leading up to that pre-season, I hit up all like the connects that I made, and I was like, look, I'm gonna do an early pre-season, and what can you line me up for pre-season? So I done an early pre-season, like trained hard, and then I ended up getting an opportunity to go out to Malta, to a Maltese Prem club. Yeah, I went out to a Maltese Prem club, and yeah, I was there on trial because I had an old manager that was there. So he called me, said, yeah, bro, Joe, come, let's have a look at you, see where you're at and stuff. So I went out there, first training session went great. We done fitness, possession and stuff.
And what was the standards like out there?
High standards, very good standards. They had a few international players as well, some Brazilian players and stuff. But for me, like, that was the norm, you know, because I've done Iceland, I've done the Nike Academy, it was the norm. So I'm in that establishment. I just haven't got that pro contract just yet, even though I just came off a pro, like, but I've got that experience now. So yeah, and then
and how did that trial go as well?
Trial went good. It went good, but up until a certain point, because the first day, amazing. Second day, I remember that day we trained on Astro, and yeah, that's when things went downhill, because I actually tore my ACL. I had an anterior cruciate ligament tear, and I remember I've never ever been injured like that in my life, like throughout playing. It was just little niggles, ankles and stuff like that. Never really had something like that happen to me. So when it happened on the pitch, I was like I made the pass, I went to go get the twos. As I planted my foot to turn, I hear a pop and like bone crunching kind of thing. And I knew, like, yo, this is serious. Like, I was crawling off the pitch, like I was in a lot of pain. And then I went to go see the club doctor. The club doctor said, yeah, your knee's swollen. But usually, like, when stuff like this happens, it's usually an anterior cruciate ligament tear. And he said, look, obviously you haven't got any attachments to the club, so I can't do much for you. You're better off going back to the UK and getting treatment back home. So that's what I done. I jumped on a flight back home, like, my leg swollen, messed up. I even had to get on the airplane. I had to get assistance, basically, yeah. So I was getting taken around in the airport in a wheelchair, got onto the airplane on a wheelchair, and then yeah, I came to the UK, went to go see a doctor in the UK. They confirmed that it was an anterior cruciate ligament tear, and then they said, look, you need to have surgery, obviously, because if football's your profession, you need to have surgery, and the waiting list is 3 to 4 months. And this was, so injury happened in August. September, I've seen the doctor. Early September, I've seen the doctor. Had surgery in January.
So you had 3 months.
So I had 3 to 4 months.
So at this point, you've come home, you've done your ACL, and the doctor said you've got 3 months till surgery, yeah?
Yeah.
So in this time frame, what was you doing? Because I remember coming to visit you, and would you say this is where you picked up the clippers again, or?
Yeah, so at that time, it's like, when I was able to, like, stand and, like, walk and stuff like that, when the swelling went down, yeah, I picked up the clippers again, cutting from the shed. Like, obviously, that was a form of income, you know? So I picked up the clippers, and then, like, I looked at, like, the doctor said, look, you're going to be out of football for a long time. And I still had that part-time job that I had before going out there. So I carried on working. Surgery day came, had my surgery, thank God everything went well. And then, yeah, I was out for a bit, for like a month, like just bedbound for a month. And then,
So that being said, was it a sign for you because you had such an amazing journey with ball, and ACL normally affects a lot of players, but I remember your mindset around that time and you were so focused. Would you say the Clippers helped you move past that injury?
you know what, the Clippers was a formal way, it was a distraction, because I've gone from fully fit and then to one day I can't play football for a year. And I had to think about life. At that point, that's when it really hit me and said, look, like, you need to have a plan B, because you can't just depend on football, because if it doesn't happen, what are you gonna do with life, you know? And then the Clipper, like, barbering again was still on the side as a side hustle. What I ended up doing is that I went to my local gym, and then I got qualified as a PT, personal trainer. Reason behind that is because the way I saw it is like, okay, I'm not in a professional setup where I could get treatment every day, but at least put yourself in a setup where you can make money and then get back to full fitness. So give yourself the best advantage. So at that time, I was personal training full time.
So that being said, you're juggling all of this, plus you started to gain such a big buzz around cutting hair. But when did you make that transition from the shed to the shop?
Okay, so I made that transition when, like I said, it was the pinnacle point of where I actually started getting a lot of exposure, cutting the artists and the footballers and stuff like that. And then football was still in the background kind of thing. No, actually, I just got back into football actually, but it was slow. I couldn't just get back and full momentum. It was slow. So I ended up playing for Beatties just to get fit. Yeah, so shout out Beatties squad. I ended up playing with them. And then I was doing PT in full time. And then one day, I went to like the local cosmetic shop to like just get products in it. And then there was uncle, like, I went to the till and uncle was like, are you a barber? And I was like, yeah, I'm a barber, I cut from home. He's like, look, I've actually got a shop, I'm renting some chairs. Before I could give him an answer, he kind of like just said, look, no pressure, just take my card. When you're ready, like, give me a call. And at the time, like, I evaluated where I was in life, and I was like, this barbering stuff is picking up, like, and it's consistent. So I said, why not like give it a little bit more attention, you know? It's like throughout that whole time, it's just been there and it's been consistent, and I've always enjoyed it. I never looked at it as work. Like, I enjoyed it because I meet people, socializing, and I'm doing something that I'm not looking at it as work as well. So I ended up giving them a call, and we came to an agreement, and I ended up going to cutting in a shop in Dagenham Heathway.
While still playing non-league football?
Yeah, so from there, remember I started playing Beatties, and then in September, I ended up going to Canvey Island. Yeah. So I've done the transitions. All right, cool. You're back to full fitness, play football. At that point there, I'd already kind of like said to myself, look, Jose, you've done all you can on football, but let's start thinking about plan B. Let's sort out your life. Football's still there, your ability is never gonna go away. Carry on playing football, enjoy football, and things can change overnight, like Vardy, you know? So I set my mind to that. So Canvey Island, started the season, September, and then still personal training, and then now I'm working in a shop as well. 3 days a week, so I'm juggling everything. So I think I'm doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at the barbershop. I'm doing Monday to Friday PTing, and then football is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Somehow I made it work.
I remember coming to watch your games at Canvey, and you had to shoot off after the game to go do a home visit or cut someone's hair. But was one or the other making you lose passion for the other, or was it just an easy transition?
Nah, it was, I saw it as an easy transition because I did spend a lot of time, like, that was my life for a little bit of time, so I made it work. And it was normal for me, like, to, okay, training session, afterwards go do a home service or something, or going to the gym, PTing someone, or having a match on a Saturday. It was normal. And then I did actually get to a stage where I evaluated life again, and I looked at it, and I wasn't really enjoying personal training anymore. I wasn't really enjoying that anymore. I was still playing football. And the barbering, again, it was consistent. It was consistent. So I've gone into a shop now. I've put myself on Instagram. I'm getting clientele from all around London. A lot more exposure. I'm making more money because of charging more, and I've working more dates and stuff like that. And yeah, I ended up just stopping personal training.
And do you reckon that was because of the transition into the shop, where you were there on more days, plus on social media you've got a lot more attention as well?
Yeah, so like it's one of them things where I did stop doing the personal training, so like my focus was just on the barbering. And now at that point, that's when I said, yo, like, Jose, let's make a brand. You're a barber. Like, I'm gonna take it all the way, you know? And start working 4 days a week. Again, like, I'm getting exposure, so I'm cutting more footballers. I'm still cutting some artists. Like, I'm doing shows with some artists. And
so is there any artists I'm missing out?
So
Wiz?
Yeah, so, but funny enough, that experience there, so I ended up cutting Wizkid, but that experience there came off of Bane, from Young Bane. So I went to go cut Young Bane, and he was with Wizkid, and Wizkid wanted a trim at the time as well. But bear in mind, this was the time where I wasn't considering myself as a barber yet, but that's what kind of switched things on for me, and it kind of made me pursue that whole journey. I was like, okay, Joe, let's go. It's barbering. Put your focus into it. Let's build a brand. Let's establish yourself. Let's get yourself out there.
Like you said, you had all these clients before you even had the shop, and you still didn't consider yourself an actual barber. Plus you had football on the side as well. But I mean, didn't you feel any of the pressure as well? Because some of these high profile people had to be at shows and on stage and for their music videos.
Yeah, the way I saw it is like, it's just every other day, it's another client. Make them like deliver what you usually deliver. Make them look fresh, like make them feel good about themselves, make them feel on top of the world. And yeah, like that consistency is what brought me more clients, brought me more VIP clients. And then, yeah, from there, I spent a good time cutting hair. So it was up until I quit PT in February 2020. February 2020, that's when I quit PT. And
2020 was a crazy year for us all. Everyone's life got turned upside down because of COVID. But how did that affect you?
Yeah, man, 2020 was a crazy year. Like, I think the world came to a stop, man. COVID, you know, COVID messed up everyone. And being self-employed, any self-employed, like entrepreneur, businessman, anyone out there, like it depending on what business you was in, like everyone took an effect. And for me personally, the barbering industry, like we took a big effect, because I went from consistently making money 4 days a week, working full time, to that stopped. That was my source of income. Like nothing else apart from like little football money. But football.
So even football stopped as well.
Football stopped. So barbering stopped, and I had money saved up, but the aim, obviously at the time, we didn't know how long we were gonna stay in the lockdown. We went into lockdown, I think March, and for like the first month, I was like, okay, cool. This is like we didn't know exactly how serious it was as well, but the media and the internet made it so serious. So like we didn't want to. You don't want to be out and about. So I did get people approaching me to cut and stuff like that, but I didn't cut much. And then it got to a point where I was like just doing nothing for a good month and a few weeks. And I'm used to a person that's active. I'm consistently working. I'm busy, you know. And I said, look, right, you need to find yourself a job because you got bills to pay as well. You don't want to go into your savings. You got bills to pay. And yeah, I ended up signing up for a warehouse job. Ended up working in Amazon warehouse. Listen, you had to do what you had to do, you know, adapt. And then like things were easy enough as well. We started to understand COVID a little bit more. So I started doing a little bit of home services. That's the only thing that I could do, a few home services every now and then. And yeah, that was my life for good, the duration of COVID, didn't it? And it was a blessing in disguise. COVID was a blessing in disguise for me because...
So during COVID, what was your mindset? Was it then that you knew that you wanted to open up your own shop and have your own space and like really take this on seriously?
I going into barbering full time and claiming myself as a barber, I knew the same way I had a vision for football, I needed to be at the top level, is the same way I had the vision for barbering. Like wherever I start, I need to be at the top level. And the end goal was to always have my own shop or multiple shops and having a well-established business. So I always had in the back of my head that, look, eventually I'm gonna want my own shop. I just didn't know when yet, but I was working towards that. But like I said, God's timing, I got an opportunity during COVID. A friend of mine had hit me up. We do business together, and he'd hit me up. He said, look, there's a spot has just become available in Gants Hill. Do you want to have a look at it? And I said, why not? Let's go have a look at it.
And bear in mind, we're still in COVID around that time, no?
We're still in COVID, yeah. I came down, had a look at the spot. He said, look, this is the situation, this, that. Used to be an old barbershop. It's yours for this amount. If you're happy, we can sign off the lease and then you're good to go. Again, good timing, because if it was any earlier or earlier in the year, I wouldn't have been in a position to make that transition. But again, like God's timing, I was in a good position financially. And yeah, I said, look, it makes sense, because I was renting a chair, and then it only cost me like a £200 extra to have my own space. I said, look, that's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So yeah, I finalized the deal during COVID. This was October. I finalized the deal. And from there, I started the renovations. So I had an idea of how I wanted the shop to look like. I had an idea of how I wanted to put my brand out there. And literally, I started working, sourcing everything that I need to source, making sure the shop was going to look how it was going to look, even the services that I was doing as a barber.
So once you had the shop open, what gave you the idea of the services that you offer? Because you and me both know that it's not like the barbers we've grown up in, like going to uncle's shop, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so before, when I was at the other barbershop in Dagenham, I was doing a few steams, like a few facials and stuff like that, but it wasn't to the best of my ability because I didn't have the facilities to do it properly. So when I moved into the new shop and I was renovating and building it, I was like, look, this is the service that I want to deliver to my clients. I want this to be like a luxury experience. I want it to be a very good experience for my clients, because I want to attract like a different type of clientele, working professionals, entrepreneurs, athletes, the whole lot, you know. And the service, like I got the inspiration from America, because the industry in America, the barbering industry in America, like is booming. It's booming. Like barbers out there are charging a crazy amount for their time. And I looked at the industry in the UK and I said, look, no one's doing this. Like, let me be the pioneer of this. Let me pioneer this, and let me bring this to the UK. And obviously I'll stand out from it because obviously I've got the setup and I've got the service to go with it. podcast, isn't it?
what I like about Marvin. He always just motivates.
I've been watching. That's the sort of services that I want to give my clients, and I want my clients to come and just have a good experience in a barbershop. And like, even if it's I want them to be able to like bump into like an entrepreneur or bump into like an athlete and stuff like that, and it just being the norm, you know. Like, you've got different cultures, like people in the fashion industry, people in the music industry, and this space is just a space where they can come and just feel in a safe place and get that experience, And obviously at the end of the day, their haircut is gonna be a 10-10 haircut. You're gonna come off the chair feeling 10-10, so it's a no-brainer. With the service that I do here in the shop, I do facials, so that comes with like
Is that the CEO package?
the CEO package. So we got the CEO package, like anybody that wants to treat themselves, ladies, you want to treat your partners, you know, and guys, if you want to treat yourself, or that's just a service you want to do, go for that service. CEO package, you get a full treatment, man. You come in, you get a hair wash, I do a steam and exfoliation on the face.
You even have a presidential service as well, right?
You got presidential, which I've got like a little bit of that service in the presidential. But with the best thing about the CEO treatment is that you get the 4K gold mask, which rejuvenates your skin, keeps you nice and young, glowing. Yes, sir. You already know, fresh shot, man.
Fresh shot, shout my boy Jfades.
You already know.
Me up. You know, each and every time.
We see it on the socials, especially on TikTok. And the crazy thing for me is I was so used to seeing barbers in the States pranking their customers and stuff like that. But then I saw that was a bit of you as well, and you started doing your thing, and then you blew up. Tell us what impact that had for your brand.
Like nowadays, you gotta put yourself out there, and we've got the luxury of having the internet. And the internet is a platform where anything is possible. Like people will see you from the States to anywhere in the world, you know? So I prided myself in delivering good content, and TikTok was one of them phases where TikTok was trending. So I thought, look, let me jump onto TikTok as well, another platform to like blow up my business. And fortunately enough, it's done me well, because I've jumped into the trends, like the pranks and stuff like that, and I had a video that went viral, and it pioneered like other videos and stuff like that, and it's brought me clientele. Like nowadays, I get clientele from the States. When they come from the States, Jfades is the place for them to come. And again, I'm meeting people from around the world now, and it's just another platform for me to expose myself, get clients alongside Instagram as well. And yeah, like for me, it's just about building the brand, getting as much exposure as I can, because at the end of the day, I do want to have another Jfades or multiple Jfades.
So obviously it's not all hard work, there's got to be some play. Tell us a bit more outside of the hard work.
The hard work outside.
The enjoyment.
I'm into my fashion. I'm into my fashion. Yeah, I like fashion. I like staying up to date with all the latest trainers and stuff. I've always liked dressing good, you know. I'm actually into events as well. So I've got an events company. I do club nights.
Senseless, you know that already.
Yes, yeah. Senseless LDN. You can find us on Instagram. And yeah, those are the things that keep me busy. The events, 100%. And staying fresh, man. Staying fresh. Also like traveling. I do a bit of traveling as well. Just anywhere in Europe. I like to experience new things. Whether it's with.
Do you feel like all of this stuff plays into it as well? Because like you said, like as a barber, it's not, you might be trimming people's hair, but it's really around the fashion and things as well. So even outside with the events, and the traveling and all the fashion, like, does it all fall into the barbering?
Yeah, I mean, it's my personality. This is me, you know. It's the lifestyle. This is me. You've got Jfades, and then you got Jose, and it all falls into one. Like this is who I am. This is what my shop represents as well. My shop is always going to represent me and my interests, it's my personality. And I don't think a lot of people, apart from being my clients, or even some of my clients, don't know me outside barbering. And yeah, this is me, man. You're gonna get the full me, the drippy me.
Hopefully they get to see all that. Yeah, hopefully they get to see the drip on the camera and everything like that.
So yeah, like.
So now that we all got all the juice, tell us what to expect next with Jfades. Are you looking to expand? Are you looking to recruit? What do we expect?
From now on forward is literally continue building the brand. Obviously we still got a long way to go, but now I want to recruit some young and fresh barbers, just to show them that, look, you may have your dreams, but barbering is not a bad career to have. It's actually a good career. You know, we've got barbers making 6 figures, and it's now something that's not like frowned upon. Like before, I know back in the days, like no one wanted to be a barber or looked at even being a barber because it just wasn't a thing. But now it's shifted, and yeah, like I wanna be able to teach the younger generation to how to grow and how to run a business. And yeah, if we've got some young fresh barbers that are up to scratch and have got what it takes to fit into the Jfades brand, then let's make it happen, because I'm here to help. My journey hasn't been an easy journey, but I've made it work, you know. Like I said, like you guys know now, I wanted to be a professional footballer, but now I'm a professional barber, you know.
I think that is so important, because like you said, like you like moving through all these challenges and gaining your success. It's so important that, you know, you try help the young generation, you know, and with the places where we didn't get help as well, because, you know, so like you said, it's so easy for you to lose your way. So I think it is actually really important that, you know, that you want to help the youth and, you know, kind of steer a direction, you know, just to help from all the bad influence around, you know. But then at least they can see that all on the socials. So where can they find you?
Yeah, I mean, you can find Jfadesstudios. You can find my barbering page, business page on there, on Instagram, yeah. My personal page, J_C Figura. You can follow me on Instagram as well.
You'll see the drip.
And yeah, just stay intact with all of that. But I will now be putting everything in one. Like, you're gonna see lifestyle on the barbering page, and you're gonna see more personality. That's what I want to give to the people, so they can relate more to me, you know.
Well, you know what? I can't wait to see what happens next. You know, it's been a pleasure knowing you. You're like my blood. You're my brother.
I already know.
So I can't wait to see what happens next. And I'm thank you for all the free haircuts.
You already know. Tunes for lifetime.
Tunes for lifetime.
Yes, sir.